Hi.
Welcome to the Viall Files.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you guys.
We are super excited to have you. You've been kind of
mute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
gone. Yeah.
I'm alive, guys. Sorry.
Been like a superhero who's like super skillless to disappear.
Yeah, I just feel like I really wasn't on my phone a lot, like even before going on the show. So then like readjusting, and I forget that people want like me to post stuff and see things, and I'll get there. It's just been a lot, but I'm alive. I'm coming back.
Well, that's great. We obviously know that you opened up at the reunion, but I'd love to just kind of go over everything if that's okay with you.
I got to give you guys all the tea. I haven't told you.
Yes.
We would love that. We would love.
We haven't heard from you.
All the tea.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
Wherever you guys want to start.
Maybe where we left off, obviously, on the show was you telling Kendall that you love him, and
which wasn't easy. It seemed like
it was not easy for me, and I just want everyone to know that if I don't mean something, I'm not going to say it. So I meant that.
Okay.
And it was a big moment for me.
It did. It seemed very genuine.
Yeah.
So for anyone who is saying, "Oh, she only said it because she felt like she was pressured or forced or anything like that," that's not accurate.
No, like I really only do things that I want to do. I'm not going to let anyone pressure me into anything, whether that's the show, Kendall, because I think it's going to be taken a certain way. I said it because I meant it. Even though it was hard, I wasn't expecting him to say it, but I'm like in that moment, right? Why am I going to let like maybe my past or like, why am I going to be scared to tell someone how I feel? I don't need to be, well, now I'm like, fuck, I should have been scared. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you're like, whoa, a lot of people. Opinion.
Well, before we get into all the Kendall of it all, like, I mean, can you open up a little bit about your past? Because I think you referenced it a lot, and you kind of talked about,
doesn't talk about it on the show much.
Yeah, it was like we just know that you had one, and that past came with some, scars. But could you shed some light on what that actually all means?
Yeah, of course. So I was in a 7-year relationship. I met him when I was 15.
Wow.
Literally thought I was going to marry him. Love my life. We lived together for 3 years, did college together, like everything, right? Moved to a new city together after we graduated. And I think it was my freshman or sophomore year of college, I found out he was cheating on me with my best friend, also another girl. It's funny because I got this text from a girl and I showed it to him and he thought it was another girl. So he confessed to 2 at once. Yeah. And then my dumb ass, I was young and dumb. I was like, okay, that sucks. And lived with him. So kind of like lied throughout our whole relationship. He was emotionally and physically abusive. And I really thought back then, like, love conquers all. I didn't understand. I thought like it could change, right? Because guys are always going to say, I'm going to change. I didn't mean it, whatever. And I think that's why, like, especially seeing like what Kayla and some of the other younger girls in there were going through, I try to be there for them. I know like how traumatizing it is to love someone and they're not, if someone loves you, they're not going to treat you that way.
Yeah.
So it was really hard for me. And then I finally broke up with him. It was like a whole thing, broke our lease. Like it was bad, you guys.
How long ago was that?
Ooh, maybe what year is it?
2024.
Maybe like 3 years ago now.
Okay.
I was single for a while. And then I had a year relationship with someone, which Sherry doesn't want me to talk about it.
He doesn't want you to talk about it?
He thinks he's in the public eye. He's really not.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean anything.
Is he like a TikToker?
No.
Like, does he have a little
He has
following?
a YouTube page?
He bounces the ball around for a living. Let's just say that.
Around. Okay.
Whatever. But so I dated him for a year and then broke up with him in November and filled out the application for Love Island and then was here this summer.
Why did the first relationship ultimately end? Obviously, you went through a lot of hardships, but what was it that you finally were like, no, I'm done. I'm walking away?
My long one.
Yeah.
It was actually funny. So we just moved to Sacramento together. He went away for a bachelor trip. My friend came up to stay with me and I was hanging out with all of his friends from high school. And he was just texting me like, I can't believe you're out with dudes, which it was like his friends' brothers. I fucking hate you. I never want to see your fucking face again. Like, pack the fuck up. We're done. While he's at a bachelor trip, just being insane. Like, literally,
Wow.
I still have voicemails. Like, I'll show people. It's crazy. And I think after that, my friend was with me too. So I never told my friends and family like how it was between us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with her there and like seeing the look on her face, and I was like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah.
Like, I probably shouldn't be with this guy anymore. And I also thought too, dumb of me. I was like, it's college, right? Like, this sucks. Like, I'm like, when we move, we graduate, we're adults, like it's going to change. And I think being in a new environment with him and seeing that it wasn't, I was just like last straw.
It is crazy. I think I was also in an extremely abusive relationship. And it is crazy how you feel like this is, I guess, like love is hard, this is what it's supposed to be.
Love's not supposed to be hard though. I just learned that.
Yeah, I know. I just learned it too.
Yeah.
And but yeah, and it took someone else, you know, kind of coming to me and being like, you know, him like pushing you into the wall is not normal and he probably shouldn't do that. And I was like, oh, fuck.
And I feel like some people like don't get that. And I feel like until you've gone through it, you don't understand. Because when you really do love someone, like you see the best in them. So you don't want to believe they're that person. And then right after they do something bad, they come back and say, I didn't mean it. I love you.
Yeah.
Help me change.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
It's like it's the gaslighting for me. It's crazy.
And you're right. I mean, like I think when we're young, whether it's the movies we watch or the shows that we watch, it does. It teaches us that it doesn't matter how bad it is, that if you can get through it, like it's all worth it. Like that's essentially what every TV show or movie or rom-com tells us. Not every one of those shows has abuse in it or things like that, but
don't even get me started on this. I've done like deep
the
dive
Notebook,
research,
like
all of it, every single, it's like implanted in our brains as like young people that this is like what love is.
Yeah.
Noah was toxic on the Notebook.
And that's why I love guys like Noah.
Yeah.
You know, like on their first date, they lied in front of a street. You know,
kind of crazy.
He's kind of crazy. He threatened to kill himself to get a first date. That's how he got his first date. I would still date
Noah though. Fuck.
No, isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
I'm over here like, I want a guy to treat me right, but I'm still like Team Noah.
Yeah.
It's still a good movie.
Yeah.
How did you heal from that experience?
I don't think I did literally until like a year ago. I went through this phase of just like being really mean to guys, which I regret because I was just like, all guys suck. I didn't heal from it. I would like secretly still see him. I don't know. I think it just took time. And I think it finally, like for me, having talks with people close to me and realizing like, what is this actually bringing into my life? Nothing positive. He's not helping me grow. I think it just took a lot of time for me. I think I probably should have processed it better. I think other girls like.
What do you mean you should have processed it better? That feels like a little like you're judging yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I've been saying I need to go to therapy for a long time. I think everyone should. I still need to go. But I didn't handle my emotions for a long time. Like, I feel like they would come out in like very dramatic ways. Like I would push down things for so long and then like kind of explode, right? And like then get really mad at him or like I never really talked through how I was feeling with anyone.
Do you think that that relationship played a big part in who you are today? Like everything you learned from that relationship?
Yeah, 100%. I think especially what I've been going through with Kendall, which we'll get into, I am very proud of myself because I've never stood up like to a guy for mistreating me, whether like whatever level it's on. And I now like see through those kinds of things that I think guys can do in relationships, right? Like I've just been lied to so much and I used to really hate it. Like I would tell my stepdad, like, I gave up my whole college experience for this guy. Like it sucks. And he's like, well, you were with him. It could have been that bad. And I think if I hadn't gone through that at that point.
Your dad said this to you?
Yeah.
How's your relationship with your dad?
My stepdad, he's literally the best guy in the world.
Okay.
No, that sounds bad. He's the coolest guy, but he literally, no, he kind of was like he basically was like, you can't have regret, right? Because you did do it.
Okay.
You know, and you did stay with him because there were good times.
More just like own it.
And like, and you learned from it. You know, your life's not over. I think I was looking at it at that time, like my whole college experience was around this guy and I didn't do all the things that like maybe I should have been doing.
I mean, I relate to that. I mean,
you know?
my first girlfriend was 7 years. We broke up several times. We met when I was, we were 18. Not abusive or anything like that. Thankfully, she's a great person. But it was toxic for sure. Mostly because like it was young love, right? Same thing. Like you just feel like, oh, we're fighting. That's fine, but we'll get through it, and shit like that. And then you break up and you get back together a bunch of different times. And I did. I mean, I went home every weekend to see her in college, so like I had no real college experience. And I very much relate to that feeling of, it not working out and being like, wow, like you hear, other people talk about college. And I was like, I had a very different experience because I was so invested in this relationship that I like really sacrificed a lot of my personal time. But like your stepdad said, like I made a lot of friends.
Yeah.
And as a result of how my college went, like my 20s and 30s were just very different,
Exactly.
And maybe it's safe to say that you don't sign up for Love Island and you don't do something as adventurous as taking that risk if you felt satisfied by the risk that you took in college. So you never really know. And that's what I've learned about, like, instead of beating myself up about like what I didn't get out of college, I just learned from the experience. And I've been way more of a risk taker. I've learned how to personalize and focus on myself before I start prioritizing other people and things like that. But yeah.
Being like learning it like when you're younger, like I think hopefully everyone like kind of has to go through something and learn through it. So I'm like, I got my shit out of the way when I was in college, you know?
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Do you feel like now you trust your gut a little bit more? Like,
I don't know. I think my picker's still pretty bad. I think I'm getting better though.
I love when you say picker.
Yeah. Like that's again what my stepdad always says. He's like, your picker has gotten better, but it's still not. I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm just such like a hopeless romantic at heart, and I just want love so bad. And I think I have those rose-colored sunglasses on, you know. And I think it's getting better though.
What made you sign up for the show?
So my other relationship had just ended. My friend who's a big fan of the show. Huh?
The ball bouncer?
Yeah, the ball bouncer. Great guy though. Yeah. She sent me the application. She's like, you don't have she wanted me to fill it out the year before. And I was like, she's like, fill it out. So I filled it out. So I'm like, what do I have to lose? Obviously, like the guys I'm dating who I know like kind of my thing was if I got on the show, I would get to meet someone that I wouldn't have got to meet otherwise.
Yeah.
Like what? And even though I was scared to do it, like actually flying out to Fiji was fucking terrifying. But I know like those, like nothing's gonna change if you don't put yourself in those situations. Like get uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So fuck it.
So we say I love you to Kendall. We get our phones back. We get out of the villa. What transpires?
Okay, let me do a little story time. I'll try to not make it too long.
No, please make it long.
Have as long as you need.
So me and Kendall, we get out of the villa that last night and we go to our hotel room. We had 2 nights in the hotel. I had 1 night with him in the hotel room before we got our phones back. So, because they kept us in Fiji to film other stuff. Mm-hmm. So it was great. I get back one night after filming stuff without him. It was like 9 p.m. He had gotten his phone back. I don't have mine. And I was like, hey, I'm going to like heat up my dinner. He's like, you need to sit down. And I'm like, can I just eat dinner? He's like, no, it's really bad. I'm like, oh my God, okay.
Is your heart sinking at this point? Like, don't you hate it when someone's like, I need to tell you something?
No,
don't get mad.
I was really like him. I was like, I didn't know what it could be. I had told him the day before, like, there were things that Serena had heard. And I'm like, I think we just need to be honest with each other. I know there's going to be shit when we get our phones back. I get that. Like, let's just be honest so we can like handle that together. Anyway, so he sits me down and he's like, so my news got leaked. And I was like, holy fuck. Like, first of all, I'm like, I'm so sorry. Because in my head, that can happen to any one of us.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking for America, but I think everyone on the show at one point in their life has sent something I have to an ex-boyfriend, right? In my past.
I
like,
have. Yeah.
I felt fucking awful. And he like, oh my God, my blood's going to start boiling. He shows me the end of the video and like, it's like a screenshot of it. So I don't really have the context of like where he is or whatever. He's like, yeah, like kind of showed me. I'm like, oh my God. And he's like, I sent this to someone in my past, an ex, like I really trusted. I'm like, dude, like I am so sorry. Like that's
terrible.
Speechless, yeah. Right?
But you didn't really see the whole video?
No. So I have no idea. And then some of our cast who was just there with us in the hotel, like pulls me out and they were like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. Like, I feel bad for Kendall. And they're like, okay, your friends wanted to check on you. So I like call my friend. I'm like, now I have my phone back. Yeah. So I'm like, she's like, you got a bunch of messages. We deleted them. She's like, I just want to make sure you're okay. I'm like, I'm fine. Right? Again, I'm fine. Next day, whatever, we're all filming. And Janae pulls me in the bathroom and she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, why is everybody asking? I'm like, yeah, no, I'm like, I'm good. I just really feel for Kendall. Like, this sucks. Like, whoever did this, like, it's fucked up. She's like, have you seen the video? And I'm like, no. I'm like, I saw like a picture. She's like, okay, let me show you the video. I don't care about what the video is. I really don't. What I first noticed, because I had just been in the room with him for the past night, I see it's his hotel room in Fiji before he went on the show.
Yeah.
And I just like literally like fell to the floor and lost it because that's not what he told me.
That's not.
It's almost like the first thing he told you outside of the villa was a lie.
Uh-huh.
What do you do?
Yeah. What did I do? So we were out just filming something in Fiji. I went to our executive producer. I'm like, I want to leave. I don't want to be here anymore. I told her what happened. She's like, of course. I went back. I got my shit out of his room. I got my own hotel room for the night. And then we were all leaving the next day. And yeah, I don't know. I was just pissed at him. And then we all went to Universal together. We didn't have time to talk because I don't think people get like how fast it moves. But like we flew back from Fiji, had one night, and then went to Universal, whatever.
At this point, had you confronted him about the video?
I think Janae told him, like, I think he knew that I had seen it because he wanted to talk to me at Universal. I'm like, I want to have this talk
here
privately.
Yeah.
I think it was like a day or two later, we had a private talk in LA. And the show also wanted to film that. And I said, no, this to me is like, I need to just talk to him without cameras around.
This is real life.
I'm questioning a lot. He's like, yeah, I lied to you. I'm sorry. I couldn't tell you the truth in that moment. My world was crumbling down. And I thought if I told you the truth, you would leave me. I thought you would judge me. And I'm like, well, I wouldn't have. Now I am. Yeah. And now his excuse is that he was bored in the hotel room and sent it to some girl on Raya. Like, I was bored in the hotel room playing fucking crossword puzzles. I'm just saying, again, and I told, like, so we had a talk. I'm like, I don't get why you just couldn't have been honest. Like, I get it though. I get these are tough moments. But like, you guys are married. When shit hits the fan, it's not an excuse to lie to your partner because you're uncomfortable about the situation. And again, it's a fuck situation. He shouldn't have to go through this. Like, I'm not shaming him, but at the end of the day, like, I'm a person, I deserve fucking respect, especially if you're saying you love me. The bare minimum I deserve is honesty. And that's how I felt about it.
When people lie, they lie from a place of shame. And I think the fact that the first conflict, the first, fight or struggle y'all have ever been through, and it's just a blatant, flat out lie, is really starting y'all at a place. It's very low.
And just getting out of the villa is a lot too, right? So it's like, I don't know. I feel like I've been navigating a lot. And then there's been a couple other things he's lied to me about. We're still together. Like, I've been trying to work through it with him, but it's not like this is a one-time thing. And he lied to me about just like an altercation he had out at the club with some girls. And he's like, again, I don't know.
Post filming?
Yeah. This was like, I don't know if you guys heard about it.
No.
Which again, major allegations against him.
What are the allegations?
Apparently he kicked out 2 girls out of a booth who were Black. And they think that, calling him racist basically, which again, he's not. I'm not saying that's okay. He needs to do right to make the situation right, which is fine. But he told me, like, again, Kenny's there. Like, I just don't get why he doesn't think that the truth is going to get back to me. It's all these girls in this booth. He told me it was only close friends and family in the booth. Then he's like, yeah, no family was actually there. But I just wanted to let you know, like, what was told to me. And like, it's just like, these girls just had it out for me. Like, it's not my fault. Like, I had to invite them to the day party and get drunk with them and post them on my social media the next day. I had to do that.
What is that? I don't understand.
Because he wanted to squash the beef and show America that they're good. It was a misunderstanding. But literally the next day, him and Kenny, and he also told me that it was Kenny and him. Kenny and me did this. Kenny and me did this. Janae also helped me plan this. Janae, and I called Janae. She's like, no, I didn't. I told him he should apologize. I didn't tell him how he should apologize. That's on him. And again, I don't care. Do what you got to do. But he also didn't clue me into anything. I sent him a screenshot of these girls on his story. And he literally is just like, did you not hear about the drama?
Why?
No, why you haven't?
Yeah. Why don't you come to me and tell me? Why do I need to hear it from you? Yeah, what?
But like, this is a man who you would think knows his relationship is on thin ice.
He does.
And so I'm just curious why he is going to the clubs in the first place.
The whole thing too, like, I've been going back and forth with him is like, we're both hurting. I'm not saying don't post on your social media. Like, there's a huge platform for him. People want him to do appearances. You don't have to not do that. But I think there's a way to handle yourself in situations. I also went to the club the same night in my hometown because my friends flew in to see me and nothing fucking happened. I just think there's a way to handle yourself, right?
Exactly. I mean, like, it's not to say, oh, Kendall should lock himself in his apartment or his bedroom and not go out. But you're right. Like, you have to be aware of your surroundings, in a relationship, regardless if you're coming off TV or not. Yeah. And being in a booth with a bunch of random women is going to look a certain way, like.
But Kenny was also in that same booth and he had no, he's dancing and having his, like, obviously just having a good time by himself. I'm like, there's just, I think, but again, it's like so hard for me because Kendall's like, whatever, I was put in an unfair position. I don't want to say he's like wrong for whatever happened, but like, we've had talks about it now and he's like, yeah, I should have told you what was going on. I should have done this. I don't really want to, I think, when you're in a relationship, you can help each other grow, but I don't want to be with a guy who I have to tell how to act. Yeah. When it comes to basic, like, decent, like, principles, like just being a good person. It's not really my job.
It's valid.
Do you believe the Raya girl story?
No. And I told him too, like, if that's what happened, fine. But I would have almost rather have been to someone he loved or someone he trusted.
Yeah.
Again, I don't want this to come off the wrong way because I think no matter the context, having his video leaked is awful.
It's fucked. Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
100%.
However, I told him this last night. I'm also now affected by your actions. Whether you meant to do it or not, you didn't want it to get leaked. I get it. You're not saying you did this, but he has to get that. Like, he's now put me in this situation, and I am taking a lot of heat for him. And he hasn't. He stands up to these other allegations against him. He's never once stood up and like spoken the truth about us or said like, I lied to Nicole. Like, it's rough right now. Like,
why do you think he's not doing that?
I think Kendall has a good heart, and I don't think he's malicious. I think he's like a people pleaser in a way. I am to an extent. I think he wants to make everyone happy. And I think he's making everyone else happy above kind of doing right by me. And I told him, fine. If you want everyone around you to be happy, you want to make sure you look good, that's fine. You should also make sure I feel good about everything. And he hasn't.
Have you told him that you don't really totally believe his story about the nudes?
Yeah, kind of. I pick and choose my battles with him though, because if I go down that path, he's just gonna be like, well, that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
Like, if I'm like, I don't believe the riot thing, he's gonna be like, well, that's what happened. I'm telling you. And then he has told me that, and I'm like, but you lied to me in the first place. Like, I'm not trying to keep bringing up that you've lied to me, but like, I really don't trust anything that comes out of your mouth now.
So how do you grow from here if there's no trust?
Question. You guys probably have some good advice for me. So,
I mean, you seem to still want to make it work. You're still together, at least. Mm-hmm. I mean, you didn't get up and walk away at the first sign of trouble. You want to believe in him. You want to work on it.
Which maybe I should have done. Serena said at the reunion, like, if a guy lied to her like that, bye. Mm-hmm. And I just think, I don't know. And I feel like I'm going back to, it does remind me of my last relationship. And I'm not saying Kendall and my ex are the same person, but that guy lied to me for 7 years. And I don't know. I get sometimes people lie, but I haven't lied to him about one thing. And he knows that. I care for him. Like, I really don't know how to move forward, but it's hard because I feel like we fell for each other so quickly, like in this little simulation, and I don't want it to end. But I think the real world, I said, was going to be our biggest test. Mm. And I don't know how many chances you give someone after they've shown you kind of their true colors. It's really hard to navigate.
What's as interesting is because I think being in your shoes, there's just a lot of pressure for all of you, it's you guys have no experience how to deal with all this crazy fandom. So I think in some cases, I think people could say, oh, well, maybe Nicole's just like afraid to break up with him for the backlash because of all of, the expectations people have the relationship. But at the same time, since things have come out, I think most people would completely understand if you decided to leave the relationship.
I feel like I'll get hate if I stay in the relationship now.
In a way, yeah.
You know what's funny? Like, and I don't read a lot of comments. I've been staying off my phone, but I do. And I get what people like think. They only see, so much stuff. I get the conclusions they come to, but if I didn't want to be with someone, I wouldn't be with them. Like, it's very simple.
Is it partly because that you decided to say, I love you to Kendall, and how much that means that you don't want that to go to waste?
100%. I've said that to 2 guys in my life. Like, I don't take those words lightly, and it's not something I can just like throw away.
But wouldn't it be safe to say that you can't really love someone if they're not willing to show you who they really are?
And I think I'm getting to that point. But it's like, how long do I let someone say now they're showing me their true selves and they are doing right and they are going to be honest? How long do you try and like see if they're going to change, I guess?
Yeah. And how do you believe that at this point?
Like, there is no, I don't know. And it sucks. I feel like, again, it's a unique situation. Like, I feel like if anything, we need that trust and honesty more than usual.
Yeah. It seems like you're in a very tough situation.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. It's been great. It's been a great time. Fuck me.
Oh, no. Listen, to work through these struggles is huge of you. To want to see the best version of Kendall, I think there's a lot to say about that. You want to believe in your partner, right? You want to trust that who they're telling you that they are is who they are. And I think it's admirable that you've really given everything you can. You can if you decide to walk away from this relationship.
I tried.
You tried. You did everything you absolutely could.
Where is Kendall's head at right now from what you can tell?
I think the thing that's been frustrating me with that, I've communicated to him a lot. We've had a lot of conversations about this, whether it's FaceTime, in person. We had a conversation last night, but he hasn't fully owned up to it. He keeps just going back to like, well, I didn't want this to happen to me. Like, you can't blame me for being in like the worst position in my life. Like, and I'm like, I'm not. Like, I get it. And I do feel for you. I kind of just want him to own it a little bit, even though it's a fucked up thing. I don't know.
I can't help but wonder. I mean, like, we had obviously a chance to interview Kendall, and seems like a really delightful person, you know, just good energy. He's obviously fun, kind of
He's
very
definitely
playful.
a golden retriever, and I'm the black cat, 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
But, you know, my read on Kendall when I interviewed him was, I'm not talking to Kendall, you know, I'm talking to I'm talking to the person Kendall wants me to see. And there's a lot of people like that, you know, and it's not necessarily, it doesn't make them a bad person. It's just like, I felt like I was talking to a guy who's truly not comfortable with who he is. Whoever that person is, he just doesn't seem comfortable enough to show that to the world. And I think people in his position, I think where people get frustrated is because he presents as someone who is, I'll tell you anything, you know, his whole like, I'm nasty, you know, stuff like that. I don't care what people think, whatever. And it's just like, but you do,
care what
you know,
people think. We all care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems like you're still trying to figure out who Kendall is.
And I think it's hard too, because like our one-on-one moments when we're together, even when like cameras weren't on in the villa, like he is different. And I've told him that. I'm like, I would get frustrated. I'm like, you don't have to like act a certain way to like, you know, be seen a certain way. Like, I like it when it's just us. I feel like I get the real side of him sometimes.
Do you think part of the reason why Kendall's reluctant to, you know, tell you the full truth, because it seems like, you know, you don't feel like you've gotten it yet, is because he's just afraid of what that means if he completely comes clean?
I don't know. I'm not going to comment on it. I'm going to believe what he's been telling me. That he sent a video to a girl on Ride.
Why are you choosing to believe that even though you don't?
Because you know what's fucked up? I did tell him too. I told him in the villa. It's not shown. It was after the stupid stick and twist bullshit. He didn't understand the rules. I said, I will believe you until you give me a reason not to. And I'm like, I'm going back on my word. Because he really hasn't given me any reason to believe him. Again, I think this is me being stupid, still young, still dumb, still seeing the best in people.
But you're not dumb. And you're not stupid. And you're, I mean, I don't know how old you are.
I'm not stupid unless I care for a guy. All my like logical thinking goes out the window.
What do you think you owe Kendall?
What do I think I owe him?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard. I would say like we owe each other the same things, you know? I owe him to be there for him through hard times and bad times. I owe him to be honest with him. But it's really hard to think that I owe someone that once they've like betrayed me. I literally feel like I'm in a therapy session and I'm like coming to like some terms. No, I'm sorry. You guys are really making me think.
We like to go deep, you know? I mean, what are you feeling right now?
I don't know. I'm pissed. I've been pissed for a few days now. I was really, really, really sad. And I think I'm getting more and more angry like as the day goes on because it's just not a fair situation. It's not what I want it to be. It's out of my control. I just truly think I deserve a good guy.
You do.
I'm not saying Kendall's not a good guy, but I look at it this way. We're like basically 2 months in, right? 3 months into a relationship. Like this is the honeymoon phase.
But you do have a lot of other,
I know.
You know, the typical relationship in the honeymoon phase doesn't have the world commenting.
I mean, what does your relationship look like right now? Like, how often are you talking? You're not even living in the same city. Like, what does a day-to-day look like for Kendall and Nicole?
We only talk occasionally. I think because I've been very upset. Like, there's been a few instances that have happened since we've gotten the villa. So it's not like I'm texting him every day, good morning, what'd you eat for breakfast? Like, we're not on those terms. But I've told him I wanted to work on it. And I think we've both been very busy with the reunion and everything. Like, now we have that time. Like, there's nothing else planned to kind of figure out, like, how to work through it. I just really don't have the answer, and I wish I did. I don't know how to get through it. And it pisses me off.
Well, why? I mean, why does it piss you off?
Because it's not how I wanted it to be. Yeah. Like, I wanted to come out, and I knew there's going to be shit. Even the shit that has happened, I don't really care. I just, like, wish he could have handled things differently and been honest with me. Like, I feel like once trust is broken, I learned this in my last relationship, it's really hard to get back.
It is, but it's also not impossible. But to fix it, you need to to believe at least that person is willing to come clean. You need to feel it, you know, and we all have our instincts. And your instincts are telling you one thing, and you're not listening.
I know, I'm really good at doing that.
I mean, listen, it's very relatable, but it's just like, yeah, to heal from mistrust, you really have to see that person gets it, you know? And you can tell when someone is just saying something because they're trying to get out of trouble versus you're talking to someone who just like finally is just like, I fucked up and I wish I could take it back and I wish I could. I know I can't and I'm willing to do anything I can. And even then, like,
he's never said any of that to me. And that's literally, I told him this when we last talked. I literally said, if I was in your shoes and you told me you've been this down bad, you haven't been this down bad since your last relationship and every day's been shit for you, I would be like, holy fuck, like, what can I do to fix this? I am so sorry. You know, like, I'm willing to do anything. That's not how he responds though. Like, I told him that and he's literally like, but you need to give me grace. Can you not see where I'm coming from? I'm trying. Like, how can you not, we just need to move past this together. And I'm like, I don't have to do shit. So don't tell me that I need to do anything. You've done something. It's affected me. I don't have to make a decision based off your actions in a timely manner that's like convenient for you.
And also what must be frustrating is because when it first came out and he first sat you down, you could have handled that a million different ways. And it sounds like you handled it in the best possible way.
I was still pretty understandable.
Where you were like,
understanding.
It's fine. I get it. I've been there. I've sent some nudes, like whatever, like how did it look, you know, like, did you look hot, you know, like whatever, you know, like you gave him grace. I mean, that was like a lot of people in your shoes wouldn't have done that. Like a lot of people would have immediately been like, I'm fucking out. Like, regardless of
knowing
the nude.
About what's to come from it.
And
right?
even if they've sent the nude, and like most people aren't quick to be like, well, I've done this too. You know, like most people don't express that self-awareness in the moment. And you did.
Yeah.
And yet, you know, he's still playing. And again, what happened to him is terrible. Like revenge porn of any kind, like it's inappropriate. It sucks. But when shit hits the fan, as far as you two are concerned, like Kendall doesn't owe the public or us anything, you know, but for someone who he came to you and got you to open up, you know, he painted a picture of you can be vulnerable with me. You can trust me. This is a safe space. I was really impressed. Like, honestly, like, you know, watching you guys fall in love, I wasn't exactly like Team Nicole and Team Kendall at first. I was like, whatever. Like, you know, they're quirky and whatever. But the more people I asked about you guys, people were just like, no, they seem to have a lot in common. And, you know, like they're goofy together. They both like Star Wars, I think someone told me, and shit like that. Do. And I was really impressed when Kendall was like, hey, listen, I know I've said this to you, but no pressure. Like, I'll wait as long as you can. Yeah. And that's a very mature thing to say.
Something I've never had from any guy I've ever dated. And that's why I said he's different from a lot of the guys I'd met, I thought at the time. Like, I've never had that understanding from someone or someone who made it seem like such a safe place to open up. And like, you know, he was all for me. I don't doubt his feelings for me. That is a good feeling too. But now I feel like everything's been twisted, you know? I think that's why, like thinking of it now, like that's why I think I'm so pissed. Because I kind of forget how good it was in the villa, how easy he did make it to open up. And I told him, like, I would laugh too. I would like open up and tell him something and be like, that's all you're getting. Because like, I don't do that a lot.
It's like he started off so strong being like, hey, we need to have a conversation. We've got to talk about this. And then to lie and not even tell you like the actual truth.
Now our conversations are so different.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
I feel like to make it work, you have to see that he's going to put in the work to be what you need and to be what you deserve and to be the man that he was in the villa.
And I don't know. I think, and this could be on me, like I don't want to take my past out on him, but like I feel like his way of making it up, like recently, it's just more like, you know, doing those grand, like I just feel like it's not genuine. Like, I'll do anything. I'll fly to SAC to get a coffee with you. And I'm like, I just told you I'm busy for the weekend before we leave for New York and I have shit to do. Like, now if I say no, like, that looks bad on me, you know? Like, I'm turning you down. Like, it shouldn't be that way. We can just have a phone call or like.
Did you ever tell him the good doesn't make up for the bad?
No, that's a good one though. Let me write that down. That's a good one. I've never used that.
I think we all have a past. We've all done things we regret. We've all made mistakes.
100%.
And I think, you know, when Nick and I started dating, there was a whole like, all right, fuck, I gotta tell him all the shit I've been through, all that, you know, like there comes a point, I think, in every relationship when you want to take that next step, and it's like about being vulnerable, and it's about being like, I made mistakes, I fucked up, this isn't who I am today, but this is the shit I've been through, this is the shit I've done. And it feels like that conversation just wasn't ever really had with the two of you.
And how do you tell someone that you should be having it? Do you get what I'm saying?
No, exactly.
That's where I've been just very stuck. Like, I don't know if you can teach someone like that's what's needed in a relationship.
Well, it's not your job.
It's not my job.
Which is kind of like you pointed out when we first started talking.
And that makes me kind of sound like a bitch, but like it's not my job.
No,
it doesn't make you sound like a bitch at all. I mean, if I were to be critical of you, you're almost just contradicting yourself because you say you don't want to be someone's coach and you say you don't want to, you know,
and then I'm
teach
sitting there like, come on, Kendall, say this to me.
Yeah.
I think it's though because I know, guys, I'm telling you, I have my own shit. Like, I just feel like I do see like the good in him. Like, I know, like, I'm like, want to like pull it out. Like,
yeah, but someone can be a good person, just not good for you.
That's also very true.
Are you afraid that if, like, is there a party that's maybe protecting him?
No. I think I was like the first couple of weeks getting out because I didn't want to make things worse for him. But then I realized he didn't really have the same respect for what I was going through. So I can't really protect someone, right? Like forever. It's not my burden to bear in a way.
The only thing that doesn't register for me hearing everything you've told us about Kendall, I'm not going back in my head, is the whole club thing. Because to me, like that's a recklessness. It's just more like,
that one's really
what are you thinking? You know, like what is going on? Like, okay, with everything that's happened, aren't you going to be just a little bit more cautious? Like I know what it's like to have come off a reality TV show and not be aware of my surroundings, be naive, be stupid. Like literally when I got done filming The Bachelor, I was like fucked up in my head, all emotional. I got my phone back. I call up my parents. I'm on an airplane. I'm whispering. And it turned out some fucking super fan like recognized me. And I'm not famous. Like, it's not like Love Island. You don't come off the show famous. But
it's still, you're getting recognized.
I didn't realize that. And it all got...
the show hadn't even aired yet.
It hadn't aired. And so like, I'm a nobody.
Someone was listening to your conversation.
Yeah, and someone aired it and fucking got all over the internet and like kind of spoiled the ending and shit like that. So the TV, you know, and so, but you know what I did from that point on? Fucking
never did it again.
Yeah, you're
and
just
it's kind of like he's already had that moment of like, shit, like, you know, I gotta not walk on eggshells, but I think the same way. Like, I don't want to like have a big head, but like, it's weird when you're outside. And I do think about when I went to the club, I wasn't even like really sitting next to my guy friends or talking to like people who want to take pictures with me because I don't know how it's going to be portrayed.
Right.
I'm being mindful again of how it's going to look on me and how it's going to look on Kendall. Whether or not these girls came up to you, because now he's saying he never even talked to them, whether you didn't kick them out of the booth, whether you didn't, it happened. So like you can go about it and fix it, but I think you also you just do have to be more conscious. It's like you have to take some accountability and like move a certain way after Love Island. You have to.
I think you need to confront him about the Raya thing.
And be like, bust his balls a little bit more.
Well, it's just like you.
I've never been on. Just so you guys know, I've been on Hinge, and that's it. And I would never send a nude.
Well,
I mean,
on a dating app.
It's the same concept though, right?
But he has to be like approved, right? Like, don't you have to be a public figure to be on the show?
Yeah.
So
you have to either you have to like have a certain following, or I think someone
don't even
on
know
the
for
app.
Sure if he's even on Raya.
Can we check?
I'm. Well,
let me get an invite.
Me,
someone on Raya, send me an invite because you only can be invited from someone on the show.
When people listen, they'll do their homework. But that's not really the point, right?
No,
like, it doesn't really matter whether
I
lie or whatever.
hope that's not a lie because that would be again a dumb lie.
But
and
the point is, it's a lie. You believe it's a lie, and so you're just friend to friend here. You're doing yourself a disservice by choosing to believe it when deep down you know it's not. Because like, what
else am I going to believe? I don't know. Like, I don't know who the fuck. And I think what I personally think, if I'm being honest. He sent that to someone he was talking to before the show in the hotel room because he missed them. And they got mad that he went on the show and they leaked it. Again, not okay. Fucked up. I don't think someone on a dating app would feel the need to do that. Maybe.
And even honestly,
but I feel like I'm never really going to know the truth. So why am I going to grind my gears about it?
Yeah, there's no point in her going to him and being like,
he's not going to tell me.
Press. It's like she's in a place where she's got to believe, she's got to trust that what he's telling her is the truth, whether like.
Yeah, but you can't.
But now I can't believe him because he hasn't told me the truth. So what the fuck am I still doing here?
I guess my point, sucks. Listen, my point is like, I don't think you should waste your energy trying to get the truth out of someone you know that you're not going to get the truth.
I get what
but you're choosing to stay in this relationship, which is like, I'm not going to judge you for like fighting for something that, and I'm always someone who's, if you could criticize me in relationships, I definitely stayed in them way too long. But the benefit of that is I have no regrets. Like no matter what, like any relationship, long-term relationship I had, like I definitely stuck it out way longer than I should. And I have some regrets to that, but I have no regrets about like, did I do my best? Did I do everything I could? And so I can leave with that. But at the same time for you, like if you're going to give it a shot, there's no point in you giving a shot if you can tell yourself, I know this isn't true. My gut's telling me that's not true. So you just choosing to let it go is you're doing yourself a disservice. So it's like, if you don't feel like you can get to the truth with someone, there's no relationship to save.
I'm almost, I think in a way, like I will be partially to blame for that because that's not fair to be with someone I think you don't fully trust. Trust me guys, I've been going back and forth in this a lot in my head. I think it's a really hard situation. You literally remind me of my stepdad so much because that's exactly what he would tell me. Like, why are you trying to savor something with someone that you don't like? It's just, I don't know. It's hard though.
Because you see the good in them. It's really, I get it. It's
but
really,
it'll eat you up inside.
The good doesn't, what'd you say?
The good doesn't make up for the bad.
The good does not make up for the bad.
I said this, I remember, it reminded me of an ex-girlfriend. Great girl, we broke up and it was one of those relationships where like we still shared friends. So
that's nice.
No, well, sure. And it was someone amicable, but we just kept hanging out with each other.
Oh no.
And so you hook up and you get, and like when we broke up, we were just fighting so much. So like it was like for the most part mutual, but like I had been in other long-term relationships and I had a little bit more experience for that. So I just at that point was like, I came from a relationship where we broke up, get back together, broke up, get back together. So I was just like not willing to do that unless I felt like something was going to be different. And I remember like we were at a wedding together after we were broke up, and like we had great chemistry. We were boyfriend and girlfriend for a long time. And even my friends who like didn't know us, but like friends I had met after we had broken up and we had run into each other, like, man, you guys, you could see the chemistry. And I remember her saying at the wedding, she's like, we have so much fun together. And I was like, yeah, no, I know. Like we do. But like, there's the other side of this relationship that like, it's exhausting and it's tiring and we butt heads and like, we're not happy. And like, just because we can be happy when it's good, we're only having chemistry now because we're not together, because we're not dealing with all the shit we have to deal with in a relationship. So like, it's easy to not see each other for 3 weeks or whatever long it was, go to a wedding where everyone's talking about love and dancing and we get back into our routine. But like, that's not a relationship.
And it's easy to do. I feel like that's what I did in my last relationship a lot because we were so happy together, and like having that time apart too, it's like shit can never really hit the fan. That's not what I want. I want something steady. I want something like supportive, like that feels good all the time. Not so many highs and lows, more, right? Like just a constant good feeling.
It's easy. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't, it's hard too. I think I'm at a point too, like I want to try, because once I break, I'm not going back and forth anymore. If I break up with someone, we're done. Right. So I want to make sure before I do anything drastic, when I'm very emotional, coming off of the villa, like don't really even know what the fuck I'm doing with my life. I don't want to make a drastic decision. And also I'm just pissed because I shouldn't have to make a decision. That's the situation now. So
what do you mean you shouldn't have to make a decision?
I shouldn't have to make a decision on whether we should be together or not.
Why not? I would push back on that.
Really? Because
a decision's a relationship's two people.
And I'm cool to do it. I'm just saying, I don't like being in that situation then. Okay, I don't want it to have to be that way.
It's unfair that
I'm in that situation. Is that better?
That's fair.
Because I'm thinking roles reverse, right? If I fucked up and I put now a person in a situation who had to make the choice if they want to stay with me or not, I would just say that I would never want to put someone in that position. But it happens.
Yeah.
I've fucked up in relationships, like I'll own it, but I would never beg someone to like see my side or like say they have to like stay with me now.
Has Kendall said that to you?
Yeah.
What exactly has he said it in what context?
Like these hard times we have to fight through together. Like we need to see this through, right? Like we can't just give up on it now.
Does it feel like pressure almost when he's saying that?
Yeah, it seems. And I told him like, it's been pissing me off too, because we both talked to the people we were in the villa with, but like, they're like, well, he's at least trying. You're not talking to him every day.
How is he trying?
By checking in.
Saying he'll fly to get a cup of coffee.
He only started checking in on me after I made a post on Instagram. I want that to be known. Wait,
whatever. So I mean, we haven't heard from you at all, except you had one cryptic post being hey.
The cryptic post. After I posted that, he checked in on me.
So wait, so you're telling me that like when we got to talk to Kendall a few weeks back, after Universal Studios, when you guys didn't really talk,
I told him to. I did say I need to think about some things. Like, you know, like I'm not going back to Dallas with you is what I said. Because that was the plan originally.
Okay.
And then he took it. Well, he's like, I knew you were pissed at me. I didn't think you wanted to talk to me. I told him how down bad I was. That doesn't mean I don't want to talk to you. I'm just not going back to Dallas with you.
Your partner can say, I need some space, and you can give them space and still say, hey, I'm here when you need.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Thank you.
Is today the day we get to talk? You
but
know,
then he sees
love to see you.
But then he sees my post. He's like, oh, I should probably check on her, right? Because this is like a public thing. Like, no, bro.
What is Kendall's relationship history?
I don't really know either. Lie to me about that. No. According to him, now he's had one serious girlfriend.
He gives very...
He hasn't had a lot of relationship experience, which not a lot of people like in your 20s do. So again, I'm not going to fault him for that, but
I mean,
I don't know if I want. I've done that with a guy, right? I don't know. I feel like I've gotten a little more level-headed in relationships. I don't know if I want to do that again with a guy.
It feels like Kendall's successfully been able to make you feel like the world's against him. He's down bad, and you're the only person he can turn to. And now it feels like you can't do what you need to do, which is maybe choose yourself, because you would be alienating him.
Yeah. And I think that could be what he's doing. I mean, and I look at it as the way I don't really care about what it looks like, but I don't want to alienate him because I know he's still going through it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
What is it that you're fighting with?
Yeah.
I feel like I get he's going through it again. I don't want to talk on this because everybody I think handles trauma differently.
Absolutely.
Like I've been hiding and down bad and sad, and some people shove it away and put on a brave face and smile and act like everything's fine, right?
Yeah.
I just don't know if I don't know. I don't trust him. And it sucks.
I'm the type of person who I compartmentalize. So anytime something bad happened to me or I did something bad, I'd put it in a box and then I'd close the box and I'd live outside of that box. And I'd be like, that actually never happened to me. That's so crazy. Yeah. And I was the one who would put on a brave face and would act like everything's fine. I think if you want to work this out with Kendall, I think there is a potential of there being a future if he's willing to just
we're gonna have to go through it.
You're gonna have to keep it in the box, and it's gonna be hard, and you're gonna have to work on it, and he's gonna have to be honest, and it's gonna be really hard. But I think there's a possibility. Maybe it is just, like he's embarrassed. He sent some video to some girl he didn't fucking know on Riot. Maybe that is the truth, and maybe you'll never fully know.
I don't think I'm gonna fully know.
You might not.
Maybe one day, but again, I don't know if I can.
But also, hell, that could be fucking embarrassing. He's like, I don't know. This girl was like, hey, send me a crazy ass fucking video, and he was like, okay, I will. And maybe he's like, fuck, I'm embarrassed as fuck. I shouldn't have done that. And maybe that is the secret. Maybe that's the truth. And who are we to sit here and be like, that's you're definitely in a position where you can say, I don't know, I don't believe you. I know who you are, and this. Why are you being so weird? Why didn't you come clean about this in the first place? The
fact that you can say you don't trust him, and he's unfortunately you caught him in a bunch of small lies.
Yeah, it's been hard.
And again, I think it's just kind of everything that you're the picture you're painting. There's a reason why people lie.
You know what scares me though, because hopefully I don't know if you guys will put this on. I love my sister. She just went through a divorce. We all love this guy. Like literally the best guy. He found out he was cheating on her with like 15 different girls.
Do you not want us to put this in there?
Yeah, you can. But because my point is like, we all thought he was the most genuine guy. Like we loved him. And then
the squeaky clean ones
saw the shit hit the fan. But again, like unfortunately, you won't know until you know.
Lying sucks and lying crushes a relationship. But it really comes, like I said, if there's a path forward, that you got to see the path.
Yeah.
And right now, I tell a lot of people, because we do talk a lot about relationships on this show. And I always say, like, if all you have is hope, then you don't have much at all, because hope in a relationship is a signal of what you don't have. And when it comes to a relationship, you don't want to be hoping a lot.
Dude, that's why I was in a relationship for 7 years. I'm like, but if he just we can get through this, it will be all rainbows and butterflies. If this could just happen, I'm hopeful. Like, that's such a good point.
Do you feel loved by him every day, every moment of every day?
Or even cared for?
No.
Considered even?
No. I think his feelings for me are true. Like, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that he cares for me. However,
you don't feel it. You're not feeling it right now.
No. And it's like, you can care for someone, but I also think like, just because you feel it, you still have to put in the work, and your actions do mean a lot.
Kendall knew you were coming here today. What was his expectations, or what conversations did you guys have about like what you were going to talk about?
He didn't want me to talk on the reunion or this about him lying to me about stuff.
Why?
He told me because,
I mean, I get why, but like, because
we both know what's going on. He's apologetic. He didn't mean it, and we're working through it. So why does it need to be talked about? It needs to be talked about because you've allowed a narrative to be painted on my character, and I'm not okay with it. I didn't do anything fucking wrong, so I'm talking about it. That's what I told him, and he shut up. Shut up. Because I was getting mad. Don't tell me what I can not talk about. Like, he does whatever he wants to do when it comes to that shit. So
why not the reunion?
I don't know. I think, again, it's just like he knows it's going to be aired, right? Like, people are going to see that shit. Mm-hmm. The reunion was hard too. And like, I've had talks with people now, but I think a lot of people kind of butt in and like, not backed him, but were like, Nicole, but like, he's apologized to you. Like, yeah, he lied, he fucked up, but he's trying to make it right. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm aware. Or like, but he cares for you. I'm like, I know. I'm not questioning that, you guys. Like, that's not my point. My point is someone I love has been dishonest with me, and that's hard for me to get over.
And seems to continue to be. I mean, your instincts tell you that. And you've had multiple occasions in a short period of time of him not being completely transparent or like avoiding the truth, like what's honestly the difference. And so you have this, and you can keep saying, I don't trust him. And so like, you're almost having this internal battle with yourself.
Yeah. So I think I haven't been like posting and shit. Like, I just like don't, it's been a lot. Like, I don't know why I can't figure this out, and I just.
So for all the people listening and they're like, Nicole, what the fuck? Just break up. Like, just save yourself the emotional energy.
Hey, then you go break up with the toxic relationship you've been in. See how easy it is.
No, not
I'm
easy,
kidding.
But
it's not.
I think
it can't be any harder than what you're putting yourself through day in and day out.
I don't know. I think
of it like the stomach flu. You've had the stomach flu before?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Right? Like, remember when you were a kid and you just sat by the toilet and you're like,
and I don't like throwing up either, so I'll like try and hold it in. But then when you let it out,
you're
you feel
avoiding
better.
the throw up.
Yeah, I don't want to throw up.
But as bad as a throw up is, that you will feel better after. Mm-hmm. But right now, you're just sitting in the discomfort of that stomach ache.
Yeah. There's like a discomfort and there's like a sense of still like, everything's okay, right? Until like you purge it out and it sucks, but then it gets better. I think I'm just still.
And and I'll just unsolicited, who gives a fuck how many people you've said I love you to?
Oh yeah, that's true.
I don't even know how many. Sorry.
Really?
Whoa.
I was the bachelor, like. No, I mean, like, listen, I think when we're younger, we I'm only going to do this once, as if like doing it once makes it more important or more special. It's just like, great.
Yeah.
I didn't get around,
Yeah. Kendall told me like he only wanted to be married once and like, waited to have sex.
We all only want to be married once.
Of course. Like, or certain things like I think I just meant it as like, I've had two big men in my past that I really, really loved, and I did tell them, right? And it's just.
But they were kind of pieces of shit.
Yeah, again, I have a bad picker.
It's okay. We've all had bad pickers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do about it now?
I think I'm just going to try and be patient with myself. Like I think when I start nitpicking and like trying to make sense of everything that happens, I like go in a downward spiral. I think now I just need to like, I've had some time out of the villa. I've had some time to chill and think and talk to Kendall. And like, I think I just need to put myself first. And that sounds awful.
No,
I'm not
it
saying
doesn't,
I'm
but
not.
that's the thing. It doesn't though.
Really?
No.
I think it sounds bad because I
No.
want to be there
why
for
do you
him.
feel like
But he hasn't. I would always be there for someone until like you kind of aren't there for me. Like, you know, like you have done wrong by me and like I deserve better than this shit.
Yeah.
It's true.
And also like I mean, it's cliche and people say it, but you can't take care of someone until you take care of yourself first.
Yeah, I agree with
and
that.
you seem reluctant to take care of yourself.
Yeah, I've been trying, but I haven't fully done it because I've been having to take care of this other person in my life, which I don't know. It's hard too, you guys. Like, we've built such a close group too, I think, in the villa with everyone. And I know whatever I choose, like, it changes that. And I've grown a lot. I don't stay in relationships for those reasons anymore. There are going to be things that happen. And let me just say this. Me putting myself first is going to have, I think, a lot of ripple effects that maybe I just don't want to fucking deal with.
Like what? What do you mean?
I think my relationship in the villa, like I did get to be close with everyone, but I went in at a different time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's like, you know, we're all friends, but I think like he's closer with those friend groups. I think there is a potential that like that might go away and that sucks. Like I don't want that to happen. It's out of my control.
I was curious, you know, we're focusing so much about you and Kendall, but like, and we love Leah and we love Janae and we love Serena, but like the PPG is like, they're very close. And sometimes if you're not in the group, you can feel very much out of the group. It always kind of felt like you were like kind of part of the group, but not part of the group.
Yeah. And even not like with PPG, like even Liv and Kayla, right? I think like some people in there like made really, really, really close friendships, which is amazing. That's not a bad thing. And I don't need to like be a part of that. Like I'm close with all the girls, like we're friends. I think Kendall's also really close with them too, right? It's like when you go through a breakup and friends kind of pick sides. And I think it's even with the boys too. Like,
I mean, he's spray tanning with Kayla. You know,
exactly.
You know.
But I'm like super chill in the fact of like, I don't want anyone to have to pick sides. I just hope that I'm somehow not taking the shit into the stick in this situation when I really didn't do anything fucking
and losing
wrong.
Everyone.
Yeah. Because I've finally come out and talked about it or something. Like, it's so annoying to me.
As much as you're struggling with making a decision of what to do with Kendall, you don't seem like you have a lot of anger towards him. I mean, you're angry. I shouldn't say that, but you really want to see the good in him. If you decided to move on from this relationship. Now, I don't know how Kendall would handle it, but like there's a world where you could say, Kendall, like, I don't think I can be with you with everything that's happened. But like as a person, I will always care about you and I am here for you. And I'm like, I feel like I get a sense from you that you would be willing, you could be his friend. I don't know if he could be yours. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think so. I would still be there for him because I think I'm going to be there for anyone after what we just went through. Like it is a lot, right? Like I think we all need to be there for each other. In a normal situation, the guy does me dirty, I'm like block. But I think this has just been such a special situation and I do care for him a lot and it's not how I wanted things to go. Doesn't mean I'm just going to leave him in the dirt and be like, go figure it out, right? Like I care for him as a person.
Yeah.
And if he really needs me, I'm there. So.
Do you still love him? And I don't mean like, yes, you care for him as a person and you love him as a person, but do you feel that in love feeling?
Our last talk, like I was with him, I'm like, this fucking sucks because all I want to do. That's why I'm also proud of myself. I think that love can be very overwhelming. Like it would be so easy for me in that moment to just hug him, cuddle him. I want to do like all these things and then like kind of and then you forget about everything else. And I'm like, it sucks because I do love him so much and I just want to be with him. But I think I'm growing as a person and maybe having a little more self-respect for myself because I'm not going to like overlook everything that's happened just because I love him.
Like, how do you think you're going to get your answer? Whatever your answer is.
I don't know. I
don't know either.
Flip a coin. I don't know, you guys. I'm hoping that now that the reunion's done and like there's not all this shit going on, I'm hoping maybe I can like see more from him or like see I don't know though.
Listen, maybe he'll listen to this.
Me who he is.
Maybe he'll listen to this and he'll
let's see what his reaction is to this. This will be a good one.
You're saying that he needs to do.
Man, I just don't tell someone
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, but I can't say here and say that when I'm literally doing it. So I don't know.
My worry for you as a friend, and I like to consider us friends, even though, is that like you don't know what you need to happen. You're just kind of hoping he does a bunch of things. You don't want to have to tell him how to do it. And then you just know that if you were to break up with him, how difficult that's going to be. You have the benefit of being long distance. And I'm afraid for you that you'll be like, well, I can just.
Being too hopeful.
I guess it's not that hard to stay with him, even though because we're not even hanging out that much. It's almost like a title that you guys have. And that feels almost easier than ripping the Band-Aid off or throwing up.
Yeah, I think that's in any relationship too, right? Like that hope. You're very good with your words. What's your zodiac sign?
Libra.
Same. Why are you way more logical than I am?
I'm a little older. I've had a lot more therapy, I'm guessing. And
sign me up.
I've made a shit ton of mistakes, and I've had to learn the hard way. And I've had to, through my own personal, just like self-preservation, to be honest, like in some ways, I've seen my mistakes in you, and that feeling of wasting college, or feeling like love is enough, and my stubbornness, my ego, it's like, what does this say about me if I get it wrong, and all these things. And I felt very stuck in relationships, and I had to realize that most of my decisions that I was making about relationships had nothing really to do with love, and had nothing really to do with finding the thing I claimed that I wanted for myself in relationship. It was, a lot of my ego, a lot of it was to not look embarrassed, a lot of it was to like save myself from whatever it was. And I just had to really learn the hard way, but and then again, this is after years of
dude, I'm literally in that learning process,
and I've lost friends over, because I would just, I'll just, I would always want to talk about my feelings. And as long as if I felt sad about it, I felt justified.
That's a crazy statement. I think a lot of people feel that way.
And I had to teach myself that like, you almost like, you get used to the sadness, you get used to the pain. And sometimes like letting that go is the hardest part, because then it's really
familiar.
Over.
That's like the familiar thing. And then you're like, it's gone. You're like, oh, this is weird. Like, this is not normal.
And then your ego is kind of like, well, see, you're strong enough to deal with this. And, like, oh, your ego feels sorry for you in ways. But yeah, it's just, just from my own fuck ups. That's not some wisdom or anything like that. It's just, I got tired of making the same mistakes over and over and over and over again. And I just have a few more years on you.
Yeah, I think I'm in that. I think I'm making a lot of the same mistakes I have, but I think I've learned a lot, and I think I still have a lot to learn when it comes to relationships. Obviously, I went on fucking Love Island. I'm single, right? Like I was like, did not know what I was doing.
I'm honestly less interested in what Kendall thinks about this episode, and I'm more interested about what you will think about after you listen to it back.
No, I literally feel like you guys have like made me, I've talked to really close people in my life about the situation. You guys have made me look at this in a different light. And I think it is cool too, right? Because like you can have these conversations with someone, like a family member, and they like spit all this truth at you and you don't really remember it. Yeah. Like I'll be able to watch this back. I'm gonna have to hold myself accountable too, Yeah. I think you can only, and again, like people say in relationships for a lot of reasons, but after my long one, I was like, low key, I'm like, I'm fucking accepting this shit. Like, I'm not to blame for what's happened, but I have the choice to move on. So if I stay, like, I'm allowing it to keep happening. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I also don't want to be in that position again. But it's so early on with me and Kendall. So I think that's why I'm like, could it get better? The hope is crazy. That's going to stick with me now.
Hope's a dangerous thing in relationships. It really is.
Oh, God.
Yeah. You want some more?
Yeah.
So you got to stop asking why and start asking yourself what. So what I mean by that is like when things happen to us, it's like, why? Why did this happen? Yeah. Why did you do this to me? I can't believe this happened to me. How could this have happened? How could you have done this? And then we try to like explain it. We try to make ourselves feel better.
Can't make sense of it.
And you have to say, what happened?
Logical.
What happened? He lied. How does this make me feel? And like, what happened? He kept lying. what happened? I still don't trust them, you know, and sometimes you just have to see it for what it is. And I think you can still care. You can still care about the guy, and you can still be there as a friend to him. You know, it's up to him how much he wants to allow that to happen. But like, you can make a decision for yourself and still say, I'm going to be there for you as a friend and stand by your side. And if you need to talk, I'll be here. And if the world's judging you, I won't. I can't give my heart to you anymore because I really don't trust you. And I know I can't be in a relationship with you, certainly right now, because it seems like you have shit to figure out, but I can be your friend and I won't alienate you. Now, again, I don't know what he's going to say, but like, you could do that.
I think you should be like a relationship counselor. Actually, can you say that again and let me just write it down and then
it's on record. Yeah.
No, just watch it back.
That's so true though. Like,
you're going to be great in whatever you do. You're going to thrive. Where I think everyone is really rooting for just your happiness. And if that's with Kendall, we're rooting for it. If it's without Kendall, we're also rooting for it. And I think, you know, only you know what the relationship actually is, what it's like behind closed doors. And you know Kendall. So I think we're all kind of waiting to see what your future holds, but we're rooting for you regardless.
Thank you guys. You're on the journey with me.
We're on the journey.
Just do me one favor.
To be continued. Okay, what?
Just don't accept not feeling like you don't know the truth. Like, don't accept a lie. You know?
But I tell Kayla all the time too. I need to take my own goddamn advice.
You know, and if you don't feel like you can get the truth, that is information. You need to do something with it. But don't just, well, I can't get the truth, so I'll just choose to pretend to believe, because
that's not doing myself any good.
Yeah, your body will tell you what the truth is.
I think I complicate a lot of things too, and I feel like you simplified a lot of it, like the whole why and what, like, or it's like, yeah, I don't trust him now, but can I just like look at the facts? And I do know how I feel.
It's easy for us to give advice because we're not emotionally invested in the outcome.
Yeah. You are. I love when I'm not like in this spot and I'm in that spot. It's the best. I can give good advice. I need to like, also, I think this is when it's important though, to like, yeah, it's emotional, but not to let your emotions get the best of you, because I think it can like lead to like long-term damage with shit.
Well, we wish you the best. Regardless of what you decide, it is okay to choose yourself. It's okay to like think of yourself first, and it doesn't mean you're selfish, because honestly, you really can't take care of Kendall unless you take care of yourself first, and that goes both ways. So,
100%.
I hope for you peace, and
Thank you.
It seems like you have a lot to offer.
Thank you.
I think most men, speaking from straight men out there, who you don't seem like a very reactive person.
I'm a Libra.
You seem really calm. Yeah. And that is a quality that I can assure you that men really desire, you know, and I think the right guy will know how to actually appreciate that type of quality that you have rather than take advantage of it. Because right now, I think you have found men who have taken advantage of your calmness rather than appreciate it. So that's my final thought.
Thank you. I also think maybe I'm like, my final thought, should I be more reactive then?
No, you should trust your gut more.
I'm not going to. I'm
real quick before we go.
Nicole, thanks again.
Thank you guys.
We appreciate your time. Thank you guys for listening. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. I know you did. We will be back tomorrow for another episode of a reality recap. We'll see you then. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.